to go just kill it. I think the past 8 years in a row we've been ranked in the top 25 for the Houston Business Journal Award. So we've been blessed to go and be in the top 25. That's been cool. But now it's like the best I've been is ranked number 13. So I'm like, screw that. I want to get in the top 5. The only way to get to the top 5 is to start doing the management stuff that I don't like. So I have a coach. My coach is with MAPS. It was Tony DeCello. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's on stage a lot. He's phasing out of the coaching, and now I have Abraham Shreve. He's just another MAPS coach. So they're trying to teach me to convert from being a realtor to a businessman. And you're managing and looking at numbers and holding people accountable and recruiting. That's a whole different presentation to recruit. We got this girl by the name of Angela. She was with Redfin. I've known her for a while. She did 47 sides last year, 47 deals last year. I just hired her 2 weeks ago to be part of the team. And it's a sale. It's just a different presentation. So I'm learning that type of presentation now. And who knows what's next? If you're consistently putting yourself in a high pressure situation, you're going to grow. I don't like public speaking. I hate it. But that's when you invited me over. I'm like, done. I'm in because I have to do this all the time. I've got to do it. I've got to do it at least once a month. One day I'll be on the big stage with Perna and these other folks that you were talking about. They're in my group. They're in the top 100, but I'm not at the level where I can go talking at the mega camp. So it's kind of preparation for that. I know where I'm gonna. Well, my ego will tell me, that's me. I want that. So then all I gotta do is just prepare for it and have a dream board and look at it every day and just want it. It's just a game. It's a fun game, and you can control where that is, whatever it is you want to do, and it's not about money. You know, it's giving back to the church or whatever you're into. But having that goal and doing whatever it takes to get to that goal. So it's just a couple of years now that we're going from being a realtor and entrepreneur to the businessman. And it's not easy. It's just not me. I don't like that. I don't like doing the management. It's just not fun. So, and I've had coaches. I'll get you right next, but I want you to hear this one. I had coaches. One of my best coaches. Do you have anyone have coaches in the room? Just a handful. Man, that's a good investment. NLP and get a coach. Top 20%. I'm talking top 1%. If you just reinvest in yourself and a coach, and the NLP thing, boom, it just gets crazy. One of my coaches told me, he wanted me to make calls at 8 a.m. and I was comfortable making them at 8:30 or 9. I don't like to wake people up. But my competition was calling at 7:30, and he was trying to get me to do it at 8 a.m. whatever it was. And he almost fired me. He said, "How does that make you feel to make those calls, you know, at 8 a.m. and you know, waking people up? You're calling at 8:30. The competition's calling at 7:30. How does it make you feel, Rene?" And I said, "Well, I just don't like it. I feel bad. I feel horrible. When people wake me up, man, I'm just pissed." And he was like, "I'm going to get this straight with you, Rene. I don't care what you feel or how you feel. Your kids don't care how you feel. Your wife doesn't care how you feel." And he's above and beyond, because they don't care. But he's driving a point. He said, "Your team doesn't care. No one gives a crap how you feel. And if you say that again," he said he's going to fire me. I'm supposed to fire a coach. I'm the only one that's out. He said, "If you're not going to do this, then you lied to me. When you said you wanted to do, at that time I wanted to do 100 deals in a year. Then you lied to me then. You broke the contract. You said you're going to do whatever it takes to do 100. And if you don't listen to me, then go coach yourself." I think he said, "Go F yourself." He's good. but all he did is he mirrored and he used NLP on me. He knows that's how I am. So he mirrored and matched me, and he talked to me in my language. That's cool. His name's Bill Pipes. If you want to coach, his name's Bill Pipes. He's a monster. He's out of Utah. He's good.
I was going to ask you about the NLP, the Mike Ferry. I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I've heard of Mike Ferry. I've heard him before, but what is that particular program?
So Mike Ferry has a bunch of sons, and they're also coaches. There's like Tom Ferry, Patrick Ferry, Matthew Ferry. Matthew Ferry taught NLP. It's the art of sales. It's a course that you do for 6 months, and it's a team of 4 people that are on the call. And every weeknight, there's different closing techniques. There's different ways there's different techniques that he'll get them all. There's like a syllabus, it's like a class. Week 1, you're working on this closing. So every night, the whole team had to write 20 sentences using that technique. And then you have to scan, fax, and email him your homework. And if you don't do your homework, your team loses points. Like there's accountability there, and there's accountability. It's very high accountability. But so Matthew Ferry taught NLP, and that's part of Mike Ferry's little. That was part of Mike Ferry's organization. Matthew Ferry is no longer doing it, but I'm hearing that this language of sales. Yeah.
Through maps.
It's through Keller ones, yeah. It might be pretty affordable too.
It's a group. Most of them are really affordable.
It's not bad.
It's either $2.99 or $3.99. Yeah.
So if you're coachable and you're willing to do your homework or do what they say, it will. And if you want to be a good salesman, man, it's like hypnotizing. It's like hypnotizing. And that's probably the wrong way to say it, but you're kind of like hypnotizing the seller. You've got to be a good listener, and you can, with your words, you can put them in the corner and say which one works best for you, where you know the answer is the one that you want to hear, which is sign the contract. It's intense. It's pretty cool, and I use it on my wife. Whenever I'm doing it, she'll say, "Stop doing that! You're doing it." She knows what I'm doing. But it's cool. It's funny. Because I'll try to do.
Try it on kids.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. But I did something the other day. I was just trying it because I teach them. If you don't ask, the answer is no. And I've got a 5-year-old boy. It's a little booger, and my daughter. She's out there selling. She sold like 400 Girl Scout cookies the other day. Where I tell them, if you don't ask, the answer is no. And we went to a little convenience store, and I was just playing with the clerk guy. And the blow pops are like 75 cents. I don't know if you know what blow pops are.
Yeah.
Well, they used to be like 25 cents, 27 cents. It's like 75 cents. And I was with the kids, and I was just playing with them. But I said, man, this is not 75 cents. So the most I'm going to pay you is 35 cents, and I need 4 of them. Here's your money. And he took it. I ended up paying them the full price, but I just wanted to teach the kids that, there's something out there. If you don't like it, you don't like the rules, go try to change them. Don't lie, cheat, or steal, but go out there and if you want something, go get it. And then he's a rip-off blow pop. But he knew he overpriced it. Jeez.
But they're good.
They're good. They're worth 75 cents. Yeah. Take my money, man. Yeah.
That's a accomplishment.
But yeah, so it's I'm trying to get the kids to get out there, and you won't get anywhere not asking for stuff.
I just want to thank you for being very real.
I appreciate it.
Being very real, but at the same time, you're saying you're uncomfortable with the management.
Yeah.
It really, I'm feeling that real good. Where it says, hey, I'm uncomfortable. I think we've all been in that position. When we get to that point, like, okay, when's the time to change?
Yeah.
So, what transaction number were you ready to make that move? You said, I got to be changed from a regular realtor
That's what.
to a businessman. Forget this mine, I want another mine.
You know what it was? It wasn't a transaction number. I wish I could give you that exact number. It was being the dumbest guy in the group. That's when it was, when I made it to Gary's top 100 agents. And these guys are talking about starting a kids foundation, what you're gonna do with your money, and give back to the community. And that's where I'm like, okay, all these guys are killing it. And they all, a lot of them were hardwired like me, where we just like to go hunt. And they're like, man, there's another side to this game. You can go keep hunting, but go hunt for recruits. Or you can leverage yourself out and get out of the business forever and go be a builder. That's called 7th level realtor, where you step out and then you're just, you come in once a month or once a week or however often, but you go build something else. So I think that's when it changed, where I'm like, man, these guys are doing it. There's some knuckleheads in that group too, they're fun, there's some fun guys, but that's when it was, when I forced myself, or when I got into that group and saw what they were doing, where I'm like, man, let's just do it. Let's go down this little path. So I wish I had an answer for what transaction. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going.
Keep on saying kill. You have to hit a burnout stage of hey, this is enough stage, and that's where you were at that meeting. You said it twice. Hey, you got to be the one that's got the group.
Yeah.
But to actually commit that.
You know, the burnout. It's a blessing that, yeah, I'll work myself sick 2 times a year. Or I have to go home, like I'll get chills and that, like, I just have to listen to my body. It happens twice a year at least. But I know the end game is so sweet. My dad was a wildlife biologist growing up, and we could never afford to do a lot of things. He worked for the state. And so we did hunting and fishing. We hunt, we fish. He always got me away from a little boy town. It's, you know, we were always watching your bag. It was bad. He got me out. And we go hunt and fish, just hang out. But we can never. But he's a cool dude. My dad's just not just because he's my dad, but he's a nice guy. And everyone would invite us to go hunt and fish at their places. But he would only let me catch 1 bass, or kill 3 doves, or kill a little deer. You know. So last year I bought him a ranch in New Ulm, and I know that money's not everything. I came from somewhere but money does some things. It gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want or contribute to whatever you want. That options, it gives you the options to do whatever, and those options are powerful. I'm supposed to be lead generating right now, but I get to talk to you guys. So and the machine's still going. So if I know that if I go kick butt every single day and I have a goal and I do whatever it takes to get to that goal, there's going to be options for my children, my wife, for my dad, to take care of them when they're older. So that's kind of the big picture is that if I kick butt, I'll have options for the people that I love.
All right, so how many hours do you leave your right every day?
Good question. It used to be 50 contacts a day. It used to be. It is now, but I'll tell you just real quickly. So it's 50 contacts a day. A follow-up doesn't count as a contact. New sales pitches. A new sales pitch where they hang up on you and they say either yes or no. You've got a sales pitch, and that's 50 a day. Now, I get a lot of distractions. I got so-and-so came in late. What do you want me to do? Come in. So I had to, because of the management, I had to decrease that to 20 contacts a day to be able to manage everything. This month, so this year to date, I have 30 either sold or pending or sold, and we're behind on goal. And my coach said, get back on the front lines. Get your phone, old school, drop everything else. The name of the game is getting listings. For my game, to get 240 transactions, the name of the game is getting listings. So he said get in the front end of the line and go show your troops.
Now, are you your contacts, are those the ones that your ISAs, or what do you call those? are getting for you the leads? Are
So-
those who, is that who you're contacting?
I'm
Under
calling,
50?
I'm calling expireds and old expireds, I'm calling FISBOs.
Okay.
I'm calling my past clients, I've got about 1,300 people that I've done business with, I'll call them. We have a system called Cold Directory, have you heard of Cold?
Yes.
You can do a just listed, just sold phone call to anybody. There's millions of phone calls. You know, for an ISA to come to me and say, we don't have anyone to call, bull crap. There's millions of phone calls to make. Do you all know what the just listed, just sold, that script more or less? So you sell a property on Primrose Lane, you get everyone's information on Primrose Lane, and you say, hey, I'm Rene Sorola. I specialize in your area. We just sold your neighbor's property on Primrose Lane, and whenever we sell a property, we're our neighbors. They list their home and they sell right away. I was wondering when you plan on moving and selling. That's it. That's the script. So that's a sales pitch. That's 1 out of 50. If we can get 47 no's and 3 yeses, that is beast mode. That is very good. That's to get 3 yeses. So it's 50 contacts. So I'm back on the enemy line, on the front line. So it's 50 again.
Is that you making 50 or you and your team?
No, just me. And each ISA is 50.
Each person 50?
Each ISA is 50 also.
What about this 240 transactions, is that your whole team or just you?
Whole team. 96 come from the buyer side and the rest come from the 144. I went to public school, so. And them didn't do it for you. But it's 240. 240 total.
Your ISAs, where did you find them?
Good question. Good luck with that one. You got challenges. They're hard to find, and you just have to look. We've been Craigslist, Indeed. I know I see a bill, but Indeed or something like that. You heard of that? Is that what it is? Indeed. And I have someone that finds the talent, looks through resumes, and then I have Paige, my lead inside sales associate, that's now a marketing person. She knows what I'm looking for, and she kind of screens them.
What's that from?
$2,000 a month. The ISAs get $2,000 a month.
Before taxes, after taxes?
We just changed from 1099 to W-2, and there's a reason. Look into the W-2. Yeah. It'll cost you a little bit more money.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, but I have people that just tell me, hey, guess what? You're going to 1099 to W-2 sign here, and I go, okay, cool. That's just happened like a couple weeks ago. They get 10% a bonus when the deal closes. So you get $2,000 plus 10%.
And what is their time frame?
40 hours a week.
Well, no, I meant, well, that's fine, but probation period.
100 days. 100 days. Yeah.
And how much are you expecting in the period?
How many deals? That my lead ISA is in charge of that. They need to set at least 2 qualified appointments per week, a minimum. It's real hard to do because I don't know if it was for you guys. We just saw an upswing in our market, but after the past 14 days, it's like, man, this is good. The past 14 days was kind of just not where we wanted it to be. It probably had something to do with the inauguration. You know, I'm not sure, but it just took off.
It's probably other than watching.
Yeah.
On my OP call, they have all the listing numbers in from the whole Houston region.
Yeah.
And listings are definitely down. No
Okay.
question. So
Okay.
whatever the dip is, you're seeing what everybody else.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I get a lot of people that want to wait.
Yeah, a lot of that.
I mean,
ton of it.
they're ready to go, I'm like set up for pictures and they're like,
We have-
and others
we-
are not.
I think I have, they just told me today, we have, I think, 21 listings that are in dot loop. Is that what it's called, dot loop? Where they already told, I don't read that.
Obviously, you're management.
Yeah, dot loop, one of those.
Whatever it is.
But we have like 21 that told us, yes, we'll sign, and none of them are doing it. Like, what are you doing? That's why I'm back on the front enemy line, because we're not hitting our goal. So screw that. I'm gonna go make it happen. That's what I told myself. And we went off from your question. Oh, so
Yeah.
and so the point of saying that is that you can't control the market. Sometimes you have a baby that you're incubating, an ISA, and you leave it. But the market stinks, and then you can't just fire them because they didn't get their 8.
Yeah, but you know whether they're working.
We know whether they're coachable. During that 100 days, we want to know if they're coachable, if they can get knocked down and get right back up. So we're looking at other things, not just those results.
But they're definitely doing 40 hours a week.
Oh yeah, 40 hours.
And is it all on the phone?
All on the phone, so there's lead generation in the mornings. We have a set schedule, what they call next. And then once they're done with their lead gen, it gets quiet at about 9:30 a.m. where sellers aren't really picking up. They'll go back to their follow-ups. And they'll start back up. So they have a little system of what to do and what to call and who to call. Yeah. So it's hard to find them. That's a great deal that you got. You're not paying any overhead for the Anchorage person?
Is it close?
Yeah.
Well, that's what if you gave me a deal, I'd pay 25%. That's awesome. No overhead. Well, that's good stuff. That's good.
So you mentioned you use Coles. What other lead generating? What other?
For expireds, we've used Red X and Vulcan. Both of their dialers. I think I heard Mojo. I heard Red X has a dialer. Now I know Vulcan has a dialer, but it's too slow. So we put everything into Mojo. Have you heard of Mojo? It's a triple dialer. That's good. There's 3 calls going at once, and that's how we're able to hit 50 contacts a day and not be too stressed out. Twice a month, my inside sales associates will do the 100-day bold. It's 100. Is it called?
Yeah.
Bold day.
Yeah, Bold 100.
Bold 100. That's what that one hurts. It stings because at one point my coach made me do it every day for a month. It hurts.
Is it twice a week they do that?
Twice a month.
Twice a month.
On the 1st and 15th, they do Bold 100. And I'll get them breakfast, I'll get them lunch, we pop champagne. We try to make it as fun as we can. Yeah, we drink. Anything that's, it's just a champagne. But just anything I want that culture to be there where we're fun and we've got energy and screw it, let's drink. And if we get in trouble, just have them come talk to me. It's just that we try to have as much fun as we can. Because it's hard work. The lead generation is the name of the game, and it's tough work, and it's even tougher to find people that were there. So you're not going to.
What fraternity were you with that day?
Was it beta?
Someone wants to tell.
Okay.
Do you have like an average for your ISAs that they make, like their salary? I know it's 2,000, but they make bonuses. Do you have kind of
It
like?
should be, if they are good, they can make $60,000 to $100,000. They're good. Because remember that 10%, it just piles up.
And that's off your 10% of your commission.
Of the total commission. Yeah. So on a $10,000 commission, our average is about $9,000 commission. A little bit less than that. But if it's just for even numbers, if it's a $10,000 commission, they get $1,000 on top of their $2,000, and they didn't do anything. They didn't have to pay my transaction clerk. They didn't have to pay my executive assistant to negotiate. They didn't have to pay the marketing that we're not paying. So it can be lucrative for someone that enjoys the films.
That's as long as you have them.
ISAs? No.
Well, I meant like staying in that position.
Oh, Diane's the only one. The other 2 won in a different spot. And they're doing very good at the marketing girl. She's already proven herself. And the listing guy, he's already proven
What's
himself.
this
So he's just like an ISA. He still gets $2,000 a month.
to be on a listing?
To be a listing agent, he's still so a listing specialist. All we are, we're ISAs. We lead generate. That's what I was. I was an ISA. I lead generate, but I didn't have to pay him. So he gets $2,000 a month, he gets 10%, just like an ISA, for setting the appointment. But now, if he goes on the appointment and gets the where I taught him to do that, he gets an additional 10%. So he'll get 20% plus the 2 years.
What split do your organizations get?
60-40.
And it stays true the whole time, right?
Unless I'm a negotiator, so if they if someone hits their goal, let's talk. But you know, if the goal is 30 transactions for a buyer's agent per year, if they did 22 last year, no, hit your goal and then let's talk. So that's kind of how to do it. We will negotiate commissions if they prove themselves.
So you saying that they get 40 and you get 60?
The firm gets 60, and then it pays for all the leads, it pays for it pays for. Yeah.
So Rene, tell us what your day looks like. So, you know.
I need to work out, and that's a struggle of mine. So the first part of my day is to be up at 5 and go work out. I am almost 40 years old, so I'm just now seeing that I have to actually do stuff.
All downhill.
I'm hearing it, I've heard it and heard it.
You'll be happier if you just get over it faster.
Yeah. So now, so I failed this morning. I worked out on Monday, I worked out on Tuesday, and this morning I just hit snooze. I just didn't have it in me. I couldn't do it. And I'll tell myself, and I'm in an accountability group. They're called the Alpha Dogs. Weird name, but one of my coaches, we parted ways, and she said, "You know what? You make a great Alpha Dog." I'm like, what's that? They're 8 producers all across the nation, and they're accountability partners. Where in the mornings we text each other, what's the goal for the day? At the end of the day, you say what your results were for that day, and you talk about distractions, you know, what kind of messed you up or held you back to hit your goal. And there have been people kicked out of our group for not hitting their goals. So it's a real good group where there's a guy in Chicago, today he woke up at 3 in the morning, and he said something to the group inspirational for but all of them are working out in the mornings, and they're A-type personalities. They're alpha dogs. They're wild guys, and it just pisses me off. It made me real mad. Like, I see everyone working out in the mornings, and I'm the little bozo that hit snooze for a whole hour and a half, from 5 a.m. to 6:30. I hit snooze.
You were tired.
I was tired, but they were tired, and they got up.
They don't care how you feel.
They don't care. No one does. But that's all right. So I try to exercise. I lead the team at 7:15. So we'll kind of huddle. We'll talk about objections. We'll do some role play stuff.
You said 7:15?
7:15.
In your office?
Yeah.
7:15.
7:15. Yeah. Come on.
His wife is obviously taking kids now.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I would rather do it. She gets that's the easier job of taking them to school. She's got such a hard job. I used to give her a hard time because dinner wasn't ready, but that was wrong.
Yeah.
But I grew up like that, thinking that. But man, it is hard. Truly, hands down to y'all women, mothers. Oh my God, that is the hardest job. So we're blessed she doesn't have to work, so she takes the kids to school. So I lead the team at 7:15, and we all lead generate until we hit our goal. I used to not allow myself to eat lunch until I hit my goal, and then I'll get hungry. If I wake up at 5 to work out, by 10:30 I want to eat my arm off. So this and I can't eat until I hit my goal. So this will. I'm a friendly guy, and I want people to come in. How can I help you? Or I'll put a sign on the door. Don't mess with me. Don't come in. I've got to do my job. But at 10:30, come on. I'll just put a sign on there, or if I have to. It depends if I'm real hungry. So I'll do that, I'll do a quick lunch. Most times I'll get like Jimmy John's or something, and I'll eat there from my desk, and I'll go through emails. I have an executive assistant that will sort through the crap of my emails and only leave what I need to see. So when I eat, I'll go through those, just kind of do whatever I've got to do there. Yeah, it could take 15 to 30 minutes, and then I'm back at it with pre-qualifying. Pre-qualify your listings is huge. I used to go on any listing and show up, and they're overpriced, and you got to drive all the way back, and that was just bad business. So now I make sure I pre-qualify 100% of the time on 100% of the listings to let them know that when I show up at 3, if you're comfortable and confident I'm the best agent for the job, are you planning on listing with me for the next 6 months? I need to hear it from you. And he says, no, it depends on what you say. I'm talking to 2 other realtors. I say, perfect. Who are the other 2 realtors? Just out of curiosity, who am I going up against? I'm competitive. You do want a competitive realtor, right? They'll say yes. They'll give me the names of my competition. And then I'll pull the production up. And I'll see that Larry Johnson sold 3 homes last year. I sold 163. There's a difference there. Larry's probably an awesome guy. Choose Larry if he's the best person for the job. And then I'll just go into my presentation. Yeah. So, lead generator in the mornings, go on appointments in the evenings. Now it's mixed in with a bunch of crap. I've got management. Yeah. So I've got to put someone on notice. I have to put an ISA of ours on notice today. There's a target on her back because of performance. So I wish I could stay with you guys and I gotta go back and be uncomfortable. So, but what I'm trying to build is as an NBA or NFL, a championship team. And if I don't have championship players, I'm not gonna get the ring. You know, and players on the team, they have to want to win, and they have to prove themselves, and they have to go work. And if you're not willing to work, you're right on the bench, and you can't make money on the bench. If you're on the bench, you need to go somewhere else. So I've got a good group, and I'm looking for the best. So it's challenging, but it's fun. It's fun. We're going to meet a bunch of cool people.
So you normally take 30 listings, which your goal is 30 listings a month?
30. The most I did was 28, which was 2 months ago. We did 28.
How long is your listing presentation?
It's not long. It'll probably take, I can knock it out in 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, where I'll talk about things that matter. I won't talk about Keller Williams, and I'll even tell them that. Keller Williams is the best firm in the world. We're the biggest firm in the world. We're now bigger than Remax. And I sold 163 properties with Keller Williams. But if I were with Remax, because sometimes they'll say, I only want to work with Martha Turner. I only want to work with Coldwell Banker. I'll tell them that it doesn't matter. The brokerage doesn't matter. You're hiring a realtor. And you need a bulldog. In this type of market, in these conditions, you need the best. You do want the best, don't you? And they say yes, and then you go on to the next question. Is that what she?
Yeah, that's the bold mouse.
Oh, okay, was it?
All that, yeah.
Well,
That's
Tony is married to
Yeah,
Diana,
if I was
so
correct.
they're all dead. So
Yeah. The bulldog.
big, but you gotta be careful with the bulldog because there's some soft poodles out there that you don't want to be the bulldog. You gotta also be a poodle, just the dominant.
Yeah. It's mirroring.
Mary mentioned, yeah.
Can you just go over statistics real quick?
Yeah. So 3 things that matter: marketing, and marketing is the ability to get people in the door. You need someone that understands that. You need someone that has a proven track record. And if we've been ranked in the top 20 for the past 8 years. That's just proof. I'm not trying to brag to you, seller, that we sold so many and we're at the top. But you want the best agent for the job, don't you? They'll say yes. And the only other thing is customer service. And they'll say, go look at my Zillow reviews. And then go look at Larry Johnson's Zillow reviews, and kind of you can see who's treating their customers right, because you do want the best customer service, right? They'll say yes. So really, we just talk about those things, and there's a lot more that we talk about with those 3 bullet points, but those are the main bullet points, and then we'll talk about the analysis. But I've already done the comps, and I've already pre-qualified. I get price corrections on the phone before I go. And here's the script. So I'll tell the seller, you were on the market for 180 days at $300,000. And of course it didn't sell, that's why I'm gonna meet with you today. And you say, what's the next price that you have in mind? We'll tell you. And sometimes they will, then they'll say, beat it, go with another team.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I used to say, would you list it for $290,000 the next time around? I'll always try to get a $10,000 price correction if the comps are in line. But I don't say that. Now I'll say, what's your next price? The next price you had in mind, since the one you chose failed. And one guy said 240 or something like that. I was only going to ask him for 10 grand. I told him you don't want to give it away. I got to do the right thing. I would have bought it, but I told him a better price for him. He didn't have to go down that way. But sometimes they'll give you price corrections.
Do you take a lot of listings on these expires? Because that sounds like a lot of your business, where they're pricing it the same, just to beat them up for a reduction 2 weeks later.
Nah, I don't like that. I've done that before. If they're extremely motivated, like if they just have to sell and they have equity, and they're stuck on their price at $300,000 that I know it should be $280, I'll tell them we'll play your little game and we'll do it at $300. The right answer is $280. After a month, will you sign this contract? It's a price reduction. I'll get it in advance sometime.
So will you take it if they won't?
At $380? I mean, at $300. Will I overprice it?
$280, yes.
Well, I will overprice it if I get a built-in price correction up front, and if I know they're extremely motivated.
But if it's not, you'll walk away.
Yeah. I'll let someone else get it.
Do you find out from them how much they owe on their house? If
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. Yeah. And
That's in that brick wall.
yeah.
There's a little checklist you can get.
Yeah.
I have one too.
And the cool thing about it is, here's a script. How much do you owe on your property? You just ask them, and most times they'll tell you.
Every now and then they won't, but.
Sometimes they won't, and they'll get offended. It's the salesman that they know, they think they know what you're trying to do, but they'll say, why do you want that? Or what are you going to do with that information? Then you can come back and say, you know what, I asked it wrong. It's my fault. I shouldn't have asked it that way. I just want to know if you're upside down on your property. And then you want to know if they're upside down.
The ones that might tell you why.
Some of them are just very, they don't like you to know, and I'm like, we don't know how to understand anyways. But.
Yeah, no, because me being in sales, trained in sales, we have foundation problems at my property. And the salesman said, what's your budget? How much, come on, dude. Tell me what the damage is. He's trying to tell me the big number, and he'll go a little bit less to make me feel like I have to. So there's some salesmen that when you ask that question, it's because they're salesmen.
Yeah.
So that's just part of the game. You can learn to a bunch of different folks. You will win big if you learn to talk to each type of person.
I just have, when I was working the expires a lot, with my ISA, I would just always run into like the same people, and they were always willing to do like 10, 15, 20,000 over. And
There's a lot of them that do it, but they'll get weeded out of the business. It's too expensive to take overpriced listings.
some of them are.
Some
Like
of them-
Mike Cedar doesn't get weeded out of the
I
business.
know. He does good pictures though, but
Yeah, he does. But he would always tell them at least 10, 15,000 more than I would. My personal listing.
but then maybe his strategy might be, and I don't
Price
know.
reduction.
He's reducing his commission to get price reduction.
Yep.
Hey, a lot of ways to skin a cat, so that's just his way.
He'll hold it until he gets tired of it, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's not Mike, it's he's not doing any of it.
His people are.
It's his people, so it's training his people,
Yeah.
He did a great job with photos, and he's always the top 25.
Right. No, I know.
So, yeah. Yeah. What's that? Oh, is he?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he
Cool.
speaks Spanish too.
Really?
I don't know.
That's
That
why
was
I'm playing.
He does, yeah.
But yeah, it's been a fun journey, and it just started. It's just starting to get fun. So I don't know what real estate where it's gonna go next. You kind of see I'm the bending tree in the wind, and I'm flexible, and thank God my wife she puts up with it. But I'm home nights and weekends, so she has. Hey, I got in. It's a cool little deal.
Well, I have one last question.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you could do where, you know, it would just, by doing it, everything else would be unnecessary?
I think for real estate, pick up the phone. That's it. Most people don't pick up the phone because of the rejection. It's guaranteed rejection. You are feeding yourselves to the lions. And people don't do it because they're afraid of the rejection. But to be able to counter that, it's all you gotta do is be prepared for this role and role play and memorize the script. They're all the same. All coaches have a little spin on them, but it's all the same crap. So it's just a matter of talking to as many people as you can and asking the right questions. And that's it. Some people are okay with making 30 to 50 grand a year, and that's fine. Most realtors sell, what, 5 homes a year? Is that an NAR statistic, something like that? 5 to 10 homes, and that's good. It's all right. But you get to choose. You get to choose what you want to be. So if you want to do 30 to 50 grand, that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. And I don't even know if those numbers are right. It's probably not 30 to 50.
It's below 60,000 a year.
But the majority?
For the majority.
Okay. And that's cool. And you can have a great family with that. That's a lot of money.
How much? When you make $30,000 a year, it's a lot of money. Like, at a different job.
Yeah. You know what? Growing up, I don't know if it was considered middle class or whatever, but food tastes better back then for some reason. And now I'm just going off. I appreciate this stuff more.
Yeah, you do.
I appreciate stuff now, but now I catch myself at a steak place and say, no, this is dry. Like, what? Did I just say that? I'll tell my wife that. I won't tell the waiter or anything, but like I'll find my wife and I just kind of joking about it. But life was sweet in the middle. Whatever.
Now it's because you have to manage people.
Yeah. It's just another skill set, and I've got to learn it, and I'm going to learn it. And I hope it doesn't take long. So I'm just throwing myself out there every single day. And I encourage you guys to do the same.
When you said you had to meet your goal, was it the 50 calls or was it the how many appointments you got? What was your end of your goal? Like when you can go eat? What was it?
50 contacts.
50
Once I
contacts.
once I did 50 sales pitches, then I can go eat.
Okay.
So 50 and no, with 50 with no yeses, you could still go eat?
Yes. Yeah. Because sometimes. But that's a good question, because it's just like, I don't know if anyone's a fisherman here, but you can watch the tide, you know, sometimes they're just not biting.
Yep.
That doesn't make you a bad fisherman. Sometimes you gotta change your lure. You know, the DOAs aren't working today, you know, or whatever it is that you're using. So you can't, one coach said, don't get tied out in the outcome. Don't beat yourself up. You do 50 calls, they're all no's, don't get tied up into it. So, gosh darn it, I wish I were smart enough to remember the 3 things. Well, I'm not that smart. But he was like, he said, and it was Mike Ferry, I think, or someone from Mike Ferry. It was show up, gotta show up. And that's the problem. 7:15 in the morning, you looked around the room, I don't know what you were trying to do there, but you show up and make it corporate America. And yeah, you can sleep till 10 if you want, but screw that. Beat yourself yourself up. Well, whatever, I'm going on. Show up. The second one was to be aware. And I guess what he's saying there is kind of loaded. It's being street smart and book smart. Be aware if expireds aren't working because you get someone discounted the commissions or whatever, you got to be able to change. You got to change. Be willing to change what you're doing. So show up. Be aware. I can't think of the other ones, but on top of my head. Oh, and I think there were 4 of them, but one of them was do not get tied out in the outcome. Don't beat yourself up. If our goal last year was 180 transactions and it was 163, and it pissed me off. And I should take my coach's advice. Don't get tied up in it. We had a great year. It was blessed. 42 million. We took some good trips and just be cool with it. I have a problem with the complacency. I don't want that to be part of my vocabulary. It's like, next, let's go bigger. And it's fun, and thank God I'm healthy, and I can do that until my health goes away. Hopefully not soon. So, yeah, don't get tied up in the outcome. If you hit 50, that's good. Did your thing. Now we'll do the next thing. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.